only Arsenal can make that type of game as difficult as we did make it, and only in the Europa League you're going to see a game like that. Jesus Christ. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. Of course, this is my Arsenal series where I react to each and every game that Arsenal play in the 2017-18 campaign. Tonight's game, we were away at Belarus in the Europa League Matchday 2 to face Bate Borisov away from home. Bate Borisov were hosting us, and it was just an absolutely crazy game. Obviously, the game has ended, and we have beaten Bate Borisov by 4 goals to 2. 4 goals to 2. Theo Walcott getting 2 goals, and Rob Holding getting himself an Arsenal goal, and the 100th goal for Olivier Giroud. Now, you might be thinking, if you didn't see the game, Arsenal must have had a really comfortable game, just rolled them over, maybe conceded a couple of goals late on, but, you know, it was an easy, comfortable game. We controlled the game from start to finish. All of that good stuff, all of the stuff you expect Arsenal to do away from home, that it was just a comfortable game, which we controlled, you know, and we never looked like, you know, being threatened at any point. If you think that, you are 100% incorrect. You're just 100% wrong, because it was anything other than that. It was such a strange and crazy game. It is the kind of game that you'd be watching on a Thursday night at 6 o'clock, you know, with your dinner, and, you know, one of those games where you really don't care because you really should be watching football on a Thursday night. And I want to briefly touch upon this before getting into, you know, my thoughts of the game. And that is the way that us as fans treat the Europa League, because I want to win the Europa League. Okay, I really do want to win the Europa League. It could be our only bet into the Champions League, because, you know, getting into that top 4 this season, the Premier League, is going to be tough. You know, Manchester United and City are definitely going to get first and second. You know, Chelsea, I think, will get third easily, and then it's a, you know, battle and fight between us, Spurs, and Liverpool. And, you know, on form right now, it doesn't look like we're going to get into that top 4. We are on a good run since the Liverpool game. But, you know, Spurs are better than us at this moment. Liverpool, I think you could say Arsenal, Liverpool are par at the minute. You know, potentially anyway. But, you know, so the Europa League, winning the Europa League, just like Man United did last year, could be our best way of getting back into the Champions League. We deserve to be in the Champions League. Because the Europa League is just seen with so much negativity that you don't really get excited and hyped up about it. You know, I wasn't sitting this morning thinking, I can't wait tonight to see us play Bate Borisov. You know, I didn't have that, you know, thought and that thought process, you know, running through my head at any, you know, point of the day. I think the Europa League starts to heat up when the sides from the Champions League that finish third go into the Europa League, and that is when, in the knockout games, you start to see some tasty encounters. Remember a couple of years ago, Liverpool against Dortmund, and Liverpool beat Dortmund 5-4, just an incredible game of football. So you do get moments like that. And, you know, looking at one of the Champions League group tables with PSG and Bayern Munich last night, it's just going to happen. Bayern Munich are going to have their worst Champions League group ever, because they've sacked Carlo Ancelotti. They're going to finish third, and they're going to get us in the Europa League and absolutely destroy us in the knockout stages. It's just, it's going to happen, isn't it? Like, it's just, it really is going to happen. But I think because UEFA try and put the Champions League and the Europa League, like, bulge them together, you know, to try and, you know, give the competition, you know, to advertise it and give it more hype and give it the respect that it does deserve. It just has never ever really, you know, gone on to do that, because it's on a Thursday night. And back in the day, and this is what my dad told me, and kind of looking at, like, the football fixtures of how they were panned out, you know, before the Europa League came into fruition. You know, you'd have football on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturday, Sunday. Like, Thursday, you wouldn't have football. You're now seeing football on a Friday night much more, and I like that. I like, you know, kick-starting the weekend on Friday night with a football match. Tuesday, Wednesday, obviously Champions League. Saturday, Sunday, Premier League, and Premier League sometimes on a Monday night as well. Thursday, sort of the day that you don't have football, and you don't, you know, see any football. It's your time to kind of relax from it. And you do see a lot of awful games in the Europa League on a Thursday night. So, I don't know, really. Maybe they've got to, you know, maybe work better to integrate the competition to kind of give it more buzz and excitement, because at the end of the day, you know, there's only two European competitions, and it's the Champions League and the Europa League, and, you know, there's only 2 clubs that can say they've got European pedigree and won a European trophy at the end of the season, only 2, and we have the chance to be in one. And obviously you've got the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Man United, City have the chance to win the Champions League. So, you know, you only have 2 teams that potentially could win a European trophy. So, you know, I want to throw as much into the competition as we possibly can. But all in all, it's not the most exciting and promising competition to be in. But anyway, we get into the game against Bate Borisov. We've beaten Cologne by 3-1 at the Emirates on match day 1. And to put it in context, Bate Borisov, their stadium's in a forest, which is just quite entertaining firsthand. I mean, it's literally surrounded by a forest. And it's just... but, I mean, Bate Borisov, credit to them. They've beaten Bayern Munich, they've beaten Roma, so they've had some, you know, incredible Champions League moments. And the Belarus league that they're in, they've won it the last 11... Well, I think they've won it 13 times, and they've won it 11 consecutive seasons in a row. So, you know, on paper, they should be a decent team. And Kleb, Kleb, if you remember, you know, former Arsenal player, he started his career at Bate Borisov and then came to us. So there's a lot of excitement. You know, Bate Borisov fans were probably very excited to play us and trying to put an upset on the cards. The game kicks off and it starts of a game where I thought it was going to be an easy game, and what happened in the first 20-30 minutes was what I thought the game was going to be, that we were just going to roll them over. I had never heard of the team, and I'd never ever heard of any of their players. So, you know, and it sounds, you know, kind of quite me being neglectful and disrespectful, really, to say this, but I didn't give them any kind of chance. Game kicks off. Jack Wilshere goes down the line. Great bit of run, great bit of skill. Crosses it in, and Theo Walcott was there to tap it in. And Walcott gets the first goal, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal. The second goal was an absolute joke. You know, the Bate Borisov goalkeeper literally tries to pass it to his left back from a goal kick to throw it out from a goal kick, and tries to pass it to his left back. Theo Walcott just gives it back straight away. I don't know what the keeper was doing. It's an absolute joke. It's a ridiculous goal to give away, you know, from a Borisov perspective. And Walcott just toys with him, gets back to him, the goalkeeper gives him the ball, and then he kind of just runs onto it, gets a touch, and then just slides it and curves it into the left-hand corner for 2-0, and we're 2-0 up. And then a corner comes in again, and there were warning signs, because just before, Per Mertesacker had the chance to score, and he literally was turned 360 degrees behind the ball. He wasn't even looking at the ball, he was backwards, and he headed it, and it nearly went in, and then Rob Holding hit the post. So, like, you know it's bad when Per Mertesacker nearly scores a goal. Like, that's when you know, you're in for a bad night. But another corner comes in, and it just goes past 4 or 5 Borisov defenders. No one's there. Rob Holding goes in, and you've basically got to tap him, because the goalkeeper doesn't see it till very late. And he just arrows it in and gets us into a beautiful position. And we are 3-0 up after, I think, 26, 27 minutes. Now, at this stage, I turned to my dad and I said, this could be 8-0. You know, it really just could be an 8-0 game, and we were in control. We fired out the blocks. You know, Borisov were just absolutely woeful. They had no control. They had no stability. They weren't putting any intensity or power into us. You know, they were just letting us play. Then they get a chance. They go down the right-hand side. They whip a ball in, and the header goes in. Ospina couldn't get near to a touch to it, and I don't think he really had a chance. It was just poor defending from Mertesacker and Mustafi to allow him to run down the wings and then cross the ball in. It was just poor. It really should have been dealt with. And it's 3-1. And at 3-1, you're thinking, okay, they've got a goal back. I was like, okay, this is fairly decent of them. They've got a goal back now. And, you know, then they started creating a couple of decent opportunities. We had a couple of decent moments here. Walcott, you know, should have really got his hat-trick. Just swerved it. There was a lovely bit of interchange in play between Wilshere and Walcott. Walcott should have laid it back for Wilshere. He was literally open. He would have had a tap. He tried to go for his hat-trick. Jack Wilshere was fairly annoying. I think he referred to Walcott as, like, you know, just absolute shit, really. I lip read what he was saying. I'm not sure, you know, don't quote me on that. But he wasn't happy. And we go into half-time where absolutely dominated the first half an hour. They get their goal, and it starts to go to a more 50-50 kind of game where we are in control. They had a couple of decent moments, but again, at 3-1, you just thought Arsenal were just going to see out the game and potentially in the second half just slow the game down. game kicks off, and in the 49th minute, we have a little bit of controversy. Now, I don't really understand why a penalty was given for this. It comes in from a corner, and Mustafi is hustling with one of the centre-backs. I really can't remember any of their names, so apologies for that. But they're hustling these two. And the Borisov centre-back is holding Mustafi's shirt, but Mustafi is also holding his shirt. Now, the letter of the law states that if you hold, an opposition's shirt in the box, it's a penalty. But players always do it back to each other, and referees don't often give it if both parties are holding each other's shirts. And Mustafi was holding the Belarus centre-back shirt, and, vice versa. The only other thing that I saw was the Belarus centre-back stamped on Mustafi's toe, but it was very, very light, and it was, very, very soft. And the referee blew and gave it as a straight penalty and a yellow card. And I literally was like, when Steve Bauer, the commentator during the game, was like, it's a penalty, and I was like, what? Why is that penalty? What's he done? What's going on? And you're just sitting there and you're thinking, what on earth? Why was that given as a penalty? I'd been absolutely fuming if that decision had gone against us, and we would have conceded a penalty doing that. It was so soft, it was so ridiculous, an absolutely stupid decision. The referee was an absolute bottle job. He made some just absolute, pathetic and woeful, decisions, and he was condescending. He was just an awful referee. Like, the Europa League referees really are not a star-studded pedigree of some of the best refs to ever grace, the modern English game. They are pretty poor and just useless, frankly. And the referee was an absolute bottle job, an absolute stinker of a game. Obviously, Olivier Giroud has been on 99 goals for Arsenal for quite some time. Obviously, he was going to step up to take it. Theo Walcott wanted the penalty to complete his hat-trick, but obviously he's had 100 goals for Arsenal. He knows what it means, and he wanted to, not be selfish and give Olivier the chance. And he's been stuck on 99 for a while now, Olivier. And credit to Olivier Giroud, he gets a lot of backlash. He gets a lot of negativity from, us as fans, pundits. Really, don't give him the praise that he deserves. I mean, when you look at his stats, he's up there with some of the very best strikers. He has the best conversion rate in the Premier League. People say he's the best sub to bring on, and his conversion rate of when he comes on as a substitute is just amazing. And for any player to get 100 goals for a club, he's joined the list of Henry, Bergkamp, Van Persie, Alan Smith, Ian Wright. It's a star-sprangled list. And it means he must have something about him. And I really do like Olivier Giroud. I think there are moments where he's not a top quality striker. He's not an Aguero or a Kane an Aguero or a Kane, because we can't really judge Morata and Lacazette just yet. Or a Lukaku. So he's not like an Aguero or a Kane or a Lukaku. He's not going to get you 20, 25 goals. He's not going to be the type of player that is going to, you look on at him and you think he can win you a game single-handedly. He's not like that. What he is he's just below them. He's a fabulous striker. When he comes on and scores important goals, his, first touch is splendid. He can score a variety of goals. He's great with his head. He's not pacey, but he uses his strength and physicality to break in and cause problems for defenders. And, we wouldn't be, at times, would be lost without him, really. He scored some vital goals for us, over the years. And, I think he's a very, very good player. And for anyone to get 100 goals, it's a great accolade to have at Arsenal Football Club. And, I think he's certainly underrated. He's very, very frustrating. And at times he is shit. Right, there's no two ways about it. He has some shit moments. But he is, when you look at, the pros and the cons, he's overall a very, very good and technical, good striker. I mean, he's France's #1 striker. He's ahead of Alexandre Lacazette, so he's got something about him. But, tonight he gets himself the 100th goal, and at 4-1 you're thinking, it's game over now. Like I said to my dad, it's game over. There's not a hope in hell's chance that we're going to screw this over. And we got that around about the 50th minute. 20 minutes again of just slowing the game down, causing them problems, to create a couple of chances. But overall, it was a period where I thought the game was going to become very boring, because we were literally just slowing the game down, passing it around, and just causing problems. But Then, at around about 70 minutes, Belarus get themselves a chance. And it was a moment where I was thinking, Jesus, that could have been a goal. Then the next chance they have, it is a goal. And it is so poor defending. You know, it is absolutely shocking defending from Mustafi Mertesacker, you know, holding, you know, what are they doing? I do not know. You know, ball comes in, and there are 3 moments to clear this ball away from the goal, and they fail on 3 opportunities. Ball comes in, Ospina saves it, takes it out, and then the ball falls back to Borisov forward, and he just smashes it in, and he has an absolute rocket. He fires it, shoots it, proclaims it into the top left-hand corner, and it's 4-2. And there was about, I'd say, 15 minutes to go, and at 4-2, you then start to think, they get another goal, and it could be squeaky bum time for us. A period where we were 4-1 up, you know, and, you know, a moment where we're 4-1 up, it gets to 4-2. Then they have another chance where they square it to the centre, and it just darts, and it just goes wide. But had that goal gone in, it would have been a completely different game. And the last kind of 15 minutes of the game, they absolutely dominated us from start, you know, from the 75th minute to about the 88th minute. They absolutely dominated us. They created chance after chance after chance. And I don't know if it was Arsenal being, you know, clueless in defence, you know, being inexperienced, but we had Mustafi Mertesacker. Holding, you could say, is inexperienced. You could say Maitland-Niles, Willock, Nelson are inexperienced, but, you know, with the experience they've got around them, they should be able to hold on and just see out the game. But they had lots of chances. They had a lot of the ball. I mean, we had 68% possession, and then in about the 85th minute, we went down to just under 55% possession. They turned on the screw, and they really should have scored. And it would have been, had they got a 3rd goal, it would have been a very, very kind of, just a very intense, I've said very way too many times, but it would have been an intense and nervy ending to the game. And it really shouldn't be, you know, it is really poor to be 3-0 up. 3-1, you can understand, you are away from home, you know, conceding 1 goal isn't too bad. Conceding a 2nd is not great. If you concede a 3rd and allow, you know, Bate Borisov to get back into the game, you know, it doesn't put you in a good frame, and I don't think Arsenal would have been able to live that down had we allowed them to get back in the game. But we do end up sealing the game, finishing the game, winning it by 4-2 in the end, and we are in a good position in the Europa League. We're playing Nuzva again in matchday 3, and they have got 4 points from 6. They beat, I think they drew to Bate, but I'm not sure if they drew, but they've won 1 and drawn 1. I think they drew to Bate Borisov, and then they've just beaten Cologne. So, yeah, I think that is the case. Let me know down in the comment section below. But they've got 4 points from a possible 6. We've got 6 out of 6. And Bate Borisov have got 1, Cologne have got 0. So, if Bate Borisov can beat Cologne on match day 3, and we can beat Zavina, which I don't know if it's home or away, but then we'd be 9 points clear of them, and we should be, I think, probably a point away from qualifying, if not winning our group. And I think we will win this group, I think anyway. I can't see us. Cologne away is going to be an interesting game. They caused us a couple of problems at the Emirates. Home away to Nuzva, I think should be wins, and I think we should beat Bate Borisov at the Emirates as well. So technically, we could end the Europa League group with 16 points, 5 wins and a draw, or 18 points, and that is 6 wins out of 6. So we would be in a good position. But right now, we just need to work on when we're in these positions, in these European games away from home, in countries where we're not really going to play, and we've probably got our eye and focus on what's happening in the Premier League. We've just got to learn to see out games, and I like what Arsene Wenger's doing with having experience, but also youth, giving these youngsters, a chance to showcase their talent, but also having the experience behind them as well. If we come up in the knockout stages, we get to the knockout stages against top teams, that is when I would say, we should put out, our strongest side. But right now from these group games, I think what I like, what Arsene Wenger's doing with the team, I agree with 100%. It means, the likes of Ramsey, Sanchez, Ozil, Bellerin, Monreal, Xhaka, Kolasinac, Welbeck, Iwobi are all, resting, and that is good. It's giving us rest. It means now on Sunday we can put out a fully strong team. Only Mustafi that probably will, be at like 80% match fitness, because I think he'll play Ozil, Lacazette and Sanchez at the weekend, and it gives us a chance to, keep our focus on the Premier League and playing our strongest squad, but also giving the Europa League a good go. And while we're in the Europa League, we should be doing that. So all in all, it was a good performance, a very, very strange game, and defensively our frailties came to fruition again, and that was slightly worrying. Against a better team, we really would have, been punished tonight. But all in all, 6 points out of 6. We're unbeaten since Liverpool. We're on a great run. We've got Brighton next before the international break. If we can beat Brighton on Sunday, our next game's at Vicarage Road against Watford. If we can do that, great. If we can beat Brighton, we've been on a great form. We're unbeaten in September, and that is really all we can do. That is going to be the end of this vlog for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on the Europa League, Arsenal's Europa League games, and their performances so far, and tell me your predictions to the game on Sunday against Brighton at the Emirates, and that is when I'll rejoin you for another one of these vlogs on Sunday afternoon, as I'm going to be spending this weekend literally playing FIFA 18 and watching football. That is my weekend sorted. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and until next time, this is DJ Bagpuss signing out, and I shall speak to you later, and we move on and march on to the Europa League Matchday 3 with maximum points taken from the first two. And well done, boys, good job, even though you kind of really had my heart in my mouth for a large portion of that game. See you all later.